There
There we
we
go.
go. I just noticed there's a lot of sunshine coming over the waves here. It's really, really lovely seeing everybody. So welcome everyone to Finding Your Peace, Doing the Inner Work. As many of you know, this event is sponsored by the Peace, Harmony, Joy Alliance. And we really look forward to having a meaningful and interactive time together. So I'd like to begin by having Anne-Marie bring us into an inner place together. So Anne-Marie, over to you.
Thanks, Robin. Hi, everybody. I'm so thrilled to see so many faces joining us this evening. We're just going to do a quick mindful moment to transition from whatever activity we were doing, whether work or errands or what have you, to bring ourselves into the moment so we can center and be in a calm headspace. So I invite you to settle into your seat, get comfortable, and assume a posture of relaxation, but yet quiet dignity. And if it's comfortable, close your eyes and just begin to turn your attention inward. Taking a deep breath in through the nose. Inhaling deeply into the chest, into the belly. And exhale deeply and fully, exhaling through the mouth. Letting go of any distractions, any aggravations from the day, just letting it go. And taking another deep inhale in through the nose, filling the chest, the lungs, the belly, and exhale, letting it go. Just being in this moment, fully connected to yourself, aware, centered and calm, knowing that you've carved out this time for yourself to experience peace, harmony, and joy, and to share in this community with these other like-minded individuals. And I invite you to open your eyes, taking a look around at the names and the community of those around us. And just taking in, really understanding and feeling peace, harmony, and joy, and the experience in front of us. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. And so, Robin, back to you.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. I now like to invite Scott Frank, the chairman of the Peace, Harmony, Joy Alliance, to just say a few words about the Alliance. So over to you, Scott.
Yeah, thank you, Robin. Thank you, Anne-Marie, and thank you everybody for joining us this evening. Really excited to work on our inner peace. Wanted to just tell you a little bit more about the organization and hopefully you would join our joyful journey. The ultimate mission of the Peace, Harmony, and Joy Alliance ultimately is peace on earth. And you might think that's impossible. You might think it's ridiculous, that statement, that comment. And I'll tell you, if we're relying on peace treaties and religious organization, everybody to come to peace, that's going to be hard. We believe the path is by beginning with peace, harmony, and joy within ourselves. We believe each of us is special and unique, and we have it inside ourselves. When we can awaken that, and we have many people who are experiencing that, then you can start to feel peace, harmony, and joy with people close to you, and it's the ripple effect your community, and we truly believe we can see it throughout the world. And so encourage you, if you haven't bought the book, Less Stress, More Joy, the Peace, Harmony, Joy approach, encourage you to get the book and to read it. It's got some great principles in there. Even better, we encourage you to, again, join our joyful journey with our programs. And we're going to talk more later on about some of the things that are coming up. But we've got a whole lot of ways that you can learn about how we've developed these skills and these approaches. And we also have a lot of people who would like to work with you and support you in having peace, harmony, and joy every day, again, within yourself, with others close to you, and ultimately help us to have peace on earth. Again, thank you for joining us today. And it all starts, again, with peace within yourself. And today, you're going to get a lot on the foundation of inner peace and something to build on. So, Robin, thank you. Back to you.
Thanks, Scott. So I just want to tell you a little bit about Dr. Ventola. Dr. Ventola is a chiropractor and a health educator. He is certified as a heart math practitioner and is known as a heart math chiropractor. And that's kind of a unique title that encapsulates his one-on-one work, which is basically centered around heart-based healing. Steve has an ongoing interest in developing and sharing information connecting human emotions and beliefs with the health and well-being of the body. And Steve has dedicated himself to creating conscious health programs, and that includes a 6-week Essentials for Wellbeing program and the Conscious Healthy Aging membership platform. But he's not all about business. He really loves a good walk by the river, and he also has a Facebook initiative called Hooch Chat, and it's his way of connecting with nature and sharing his experiences with others. So with that, I'll turn things over to Steve.
Thank you, Robin. Great to see you all. I have a PowerPoint slides to share with you for a little bit of time. So let me begin with that. I think it will help set the stage for our time. Let me share my screen. Okay. Oh, wrong slide. Okay, awakening peace, harmony, and joy. Now, tonight we're going to be focusing more on awakening peace, but you think about that awakening, like what the Peace, Harmony, and Joy Alliance is about, is awakening what's already present. And to think about that, it goes back to the story of the ancients. So let me just continue along these lines. So there was a book I came across some years ago called Memories and Visions of Paradise. And it's the myth of Eden or paradise. The myth of Eden or paradise is the deep roots of the human quest for happiness in all times and places. Again, we're setting a stage for our evening, awakening peace. It's the story of a world in which all people were peaceful and joyous, lived in harmony with nature and the cosmos. This wondrous tale, which pulls at the heart of every human being, reappears in nearly all cultures. So you may have been aware of certain things yourselves of different cultures actually having similar stories about a time before time, of a time when there was, you can say, paradise on earth. And anthropological and archaeological evidence suggests the story of paradise may be more than imaginary. So Memories and Visions of Paradise. Joseph Campbell cited, to get back to the garden has been the aim of many a religion. Richard Heinberg, the author of the book, reawakens the image of that garden hidden in the mist of our collective memory and ignites within our hearts the vision of its possible return. Black Elk. Whether it happened so or not, I do not know. But if you think about it, you can see that it is true. Let's think about it relative to our own experience. So let's think about it relative to our experience. Now, this has been cited like historically, a time before time. We lived in a state of peace, harmony, and joy. and having a sensing that that is true. And there's actually archaeological evidence of that. You can say the pyramids may play a part with that, as well as other ruins all across the world. So there's something there, and we want to uncover these myths, the mist of these of interference with that. So we're looking to reawaken what's already been present with us as humanity. So, but thinking about how does it relate to ourselves? Of peace to begin with. Again, we're focusing on peace tonight. So let's look at this personally. So again, this is good to reflect personally. So for a moment, take out a piece of paper, something to write with, and consider, when have you experienced a deep feeling sense of peace? So you may want to write this down. When have you experienced a deep feeling sense of peace? And some things to kind of jog your thought processes. Maybe it was a time with another person. I know that's for me personally, with my father. A place you're at, or a milestone you may have reached there. Let's see here. Okay, so take note of what you remember, feeling, seeing, and hearing. So take note of what you remember, feeling, seeing, and hearing. So remember that time when you've experienced a deep feeling sense of peace. Okay. Okay, so you have that. And now just look at your notes there. Robert's going to play some music while you reflect on that experience. Okay, so tonight, finding your peace, doing the inner work. You can say finding the compass in our heart to find that peace. Let's continue. Meeting overview. We're going to be looking at heart math. If you haven't heard that before, heart math is originated through the Heart Math Institute by Dr. Childra, and he had the ingenious way of discovering ways of seeing how you can say entrain your consciousness to be in something called coherence, which I'll talk more about there as we unfold this time. Heart math basics, so we'll consider heart math basics, how to practice heart math, and implementation. So let's begin here. So addressing stress in a healthy way is our highest leverage for health and finding our peace. I think most of us would agree with that. Is correct? You can just give me a thumbs up visually if you agree with that. Okay. And after seeing it being in practice for almost 40 years now, I recognize that holds true. Addressing stress in a healthy way is our highest leverage for health and finding our peace. So introducing the heart math solution to enhance your resilience. It lowers stress cortisol hormones, maintains emotional clarity in the midst of chaos. Enhanced balanced sense of interoception. Now, that's a big word. Let me describe it a little bit further. Interoception. It's a sense that helps you understand and feel what's going on inside your body physically, mentally, and emotionally. So you can say, you might have a sensing like that, but actually to zero in terms of what's going on, understanding and feeling what's going on inside of our bodies, like even right now, like what's going on inside of you physically, mentally, and emotionally. And then by regularly practicing interoception aware activities, you can improve your ability to understand and manage your emotions to help find your peace. Here, let me just move this out of the way. Heart math can assist with your conscious awareness of interoception with an appropriate balanced response. So I know I'm giving you a mouthful here, but basically it's sensing what's going on inside of ourselves, but not getting totally involved with what's going on inside of ourselves. Being aware, you can say the presence of awareness of what's happening, and then seeing how you can say move forward in the moment in that respect. So with heart math, we recognize the heart-brain relationship, that fundamentally, physiologically, the heart sends far more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. So there's a lot packed up in there. And the Heart Math Institute has done some scientific work to affirm that, and with hundreds of studies, that the heart is actually influencing the brain, you can say in essence, more than the brain influences the heart. So how it works is scientifically, Heart Math Institute has found out, looking at something called heart rate variability, HRV, and that relates to the space of time between each heart contraction. And there should be a slight variability. You see 859, 793, 726. So between each heartbeat, there should be a slightly variability. If it was exactly the same, you'd be near death. Okay. So when it's graphed out, when these patterns are graphed out, looking at heart rate with time, when we're in an experience of, say, frustration, this is what our HRV patterns out. When we're in an experience of appreciation or thankfulness or patience, this is what our heart rate graphs out. You can just see the difference there. Just kind of like just planting seeds in your awareness there, that when we're frustrated, this is what's actually being visible, heart HRV wise. And when we're in a state of appreciation, this is what's being depicted here. You can say we're being in the zone here. So let's look at this further. Okay, so what we know is the heart sends more messages to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. And if we're in a state of frustration, what's happening is those messages, those imprints of frustration are getting into the brain and actually being stored in what's called the amygdala part of our brain, our emotional memory, where things are stored. However, when we can be in a state of appreciation, the influences from our heart can begin to de-imprint those things that have been grooved. You can say you're in your emotional reactive memory patterns that can begin to let those go, to dissipate there. And then out of that, if they are dissipating, we can start thinking consciously. There's something called our prefrontal cortex, where we can actually think, we can have understanding. But this is how it works physiologically. So if we can get patterns of being in healthy HRV rhythms, it actually assists us, you can say, with our long-term conscious emotional health. Okay, so I love presenting this here. So in the present moment, you can say in the future, in every single moment, you can say there's patterns, you can say from the animation of all that is, if this is a little larger thought, maybe you can just follow me along, is actually influencing our body all the time. There's a perfect pattern, a perfect life pattern, you can say, being sent for our bodies all the time. However, in the present moment, if we're not keen to, say, appreciating our present moment, what happens is something aberrant extends out from us. And every person living on the face of the earth, you can say, has been in these patterns where something has been aberrant that's been going through, being passed through us in our experience. So hopefully you caught on to that there. But if we can change that, if actually we can get coherent in the moment, receiving those perfect patterns, so something actually extends from us that is something sound and real. And this is where extending peace comes in, or extending peace, harmony, and joy. You can say these patterns bring us constantly energetic patterns of peace, harmony, and joy, but they need to extend through us into the world. So as we do that, as we get coherent, present, you can say physiologically present in proper HRV patterns consciously, it changes our future. You can say the patterns of the old begin to dissipate, and we set a new stage for what extends out from us to actually create a new future for ourselves. Okay, so the big idea. How do I become more coherent? In chiropractic, we talk about get the big idea, and all else follows. So that's the big idea. So quick coherence technique basics. So I'm going to take you through some basic things that you can begin to actually do this evening as you're falling asleep. As simple as these things are. So quick coherence technique basics. So this is how it works. Heart focused breathing. The Heart Math Institute has confirmed, or actually surrounded, the fact that if you put your attention on your heart area, it allows, you can say, the spin of when we get excited about something to begin to decelerate. If just putting our conscious feeling attention on our heart, and sometimes putting your hand on your heart allows that to happen. And then it shifts your attention away from your mental chatter. So that's the first step, heart focused breathing. And then breathing in through your heart as if your nose is on your heart, and breathing out slower. But let me continue. We're going to practice a little bit as we put these pieces together. So the next part is consider what makes you smile. What do you love for sure? So this is a second part of coming into coherence. This is our cat, Katniss, named after Katniss in the Hunger Games. We love our cats for sure. So I'm sure there's something in your life that you love for sure, okay, without question. So it's a matter of actually, I encourage folks to develop an emotional inventory. We're listing out things where actually what makes you smile. So you have that readily available in moments that may come along that you might need it. So consider what makes you smile. What do you love for sure? Okay, just love looking at that picture. Okay, quick coherence, quick steps. Heart focus breathing, slow in, slower out. Activate a positive or renewing feeling. Experience what makes you smile. Heart focus, breathe the positive emotion. Okay, let's practice. Okay, so part of the practice is, I feel, again, as a chiropractor, uprighting yourself, so uprighting your spine. And if you're comfortable with this, put your hand over your heart. Usually I recommend putting your left hand, your receiving hand over your heart, your right hand over that, if you're comfortable with that. If not, you can just leave your arms to the side. And then activating a positive renewing feel. But let's do the first part. And you may want to close your eyes if you're comfortable with that. And we'll just begin with breathing in slow and out slower, as if you're breathing through your heart. So let's do that together. Let's just breathe in. And breathe out slower, as if you're breathing through your heart. Okay, I'm breathing in slow and out slower. And then open your mind and your heart to something that makes you smile, something that you love for sure, and feel the feeling of that. Feel the feeling of it. What do you love for sure? And breathe that feeling in through your heart. And then you'd say out through your whole body. So feeling, what do you love for sure? And you may have to let your mind kind of consider everything. And when it hits, you'll feel it and you'll feel it. And with heart math, it's more than just thinking something. It's actually feeling, having a feeling experience. So feel what you love for sure. And breathe that feeling in through your heart and out slower. Through your whole body. One more time. Okay. Okay, that's a beginning of what's called quick coherence, quick steps. Okay? And there's practice with that. So let's look at this. Practice. So it takes some practice for a state of coherence to be known. And for practice to become an established trait. So as we come into a state of coherence and know what it feels like to be in a state of coherence, we begin to actually, you can say, begin to emanate the influence of coherence. And part of that influence is peace. So practice. There's instrumentation. This is great instrumentation. Seeing the visual evidence of the changes in the body can reinforce the practice and accelerate the progress. So there's apps you can use. There's a new app out now, a sensor you can connect to your ear. I personally use this EM Wave 2. The EM Wave 2 is a portable handheld device that also connects you to your computer. It saves sessions and has games. Okay, now I use this, it's battery powered, and I use this every morning for the past, I think, 6 years now. I've been doing heart math. So practice. It takes practice to sense what coherence feels like. And you can say, as we embody that practice and begin to see more what it takes to be in coherence, it leads to mastery. And there's always even different dimensions of mastery. You're not just out of being a master, there's always more in that respect too. But if you're so interested and so inclined, I find this work great. Okay, and then I have available training. Since I've been doing it so long, I've become a heart math certified trainer too. So I'll be glad to take you through that process according to your interest. Okay, the essence of heart math and peace, harmony, and joy. So this poem I'm about to recite to you is really, to me, the essence of heart math and what we're doing with peace, harmony, and joy. So this poem was given by Martin Cecil, and it says, any moment of hating, any moment of lying, any moment of resentment is a moment of dying. Any moment of loving, any moment of giving, any moment of thankfulness is a moment of living. All our moments add together like the digits in a sum, and the answer tells us plainly whether life or death shall come. To me, that's the essence of heart math. If you wanted to put it into a poem, as we have more moments of loving, giving, thankfulness, that adds to our life experience. And what takes away from our life experience is holding resentments or lying or hating, as well as other things too. So if we look at it here, I like depicting diagrams that help make this a little more visual for us. So you can say the essence of peace, harmony, and joy within us, what we're awakening and amplifying through the Peace, Harmony, Joy Alliance. It's the essence. You can say the essence of light, of peace, harmony, and joy within us. And that has to be received into our heart. And as we maintain attitudes of thankfulness, appreciation, patience, when our heart are in its proper heart rate variability rhythms, it allows, you can say, that essence of what is inherent within ourselves to be received into our heart and then actually received into our conscious mind. And when it's received, it's like a quiet, directed mind. And if we come back to the word interoception, it's enhanced conscious awareness of interoception for self-regulation. So again, I know I gave you a big word there, but as our heart is positioned and we receive, you can say, the essences of who we are through our heart, you can say there's a sensing in our mind, a quietness, where we can actually begin to see what's happening within ourselves for self-regulation. And when days come along, when it's raining, you can say, outside, or raining emotionally for us, it's our brain, it's our mind that needs to protect our heart. You can say our mind is I like to call it the rudder of our heart. It's like the conscious awareness, they call it the guardian angel of our heart, where those times when it is emotionally trying for us, our consciousness is placed to protect our heart, to maintain attitudes of thankfulness, appreciation, and patience. Okay, let me let you sink that in while I got a glass of water. Okay, finding our peace, finding your peace. And when we're aligned, you can say light-wise, heart-wise, mind-wise, our body will feel that. You can say our body is a perfect representation of what's going on inside of our hearts and our minds. But if we can align ourselves accordingly, our sense of our body will feel that. You can say that invigoration that comes, as chiropractic, we would say above, down, inside, out. And regarding out, we're looking to extend an influence of peace, harmony, and joy into the world. So what's above can actually extend out through ourselves. So let me take you through another process here, and I'm going to give you a presentation next to give you an idea, okay, or to help surround the process what happens when we are impacted on those rainy emotional days. So let me take the next slide. Okay, now there's going to be a bit on the slide, but just stay with me. And I call it the conscious clearing messenger RNA process. Use as needed to restore your experience of peace, harmony, and joy. So messenger RNA, I'm sure you know, with the COVID vaccine, there was the mRNA vaccine, and I actually coined this before that vaccine came out here, but messenger RNA. And RNA physiologically in the cells is actually the messenger from your DNA, which actually helps create protein, but it's the messenger. But we're talking about being a messenger of peace, harmony, and joy, a messenger of light of that. So when we're aligned accordingly, you can say we have liftoff. We have liftoff. We have turgor to our systems. We have tone to our system. But when things come along where things contract our heart, where we get impacted from, you can say, maybe our finances or our relationships or our work, or you name it. When things come along, things catch us by the throat and our heart begins to contract there. In our mind, we might have the feeling of, oh no, why did this have to happen? And our mind gets twisted. And then we recognize, it's important to recognize in that moment. If not, or if we do, we can have a choice. But if we don't recognize what's happening, we default. You can say we default to things like shame, fear, hate, greed, cynicism. What about this? What about that? There. So if we're not conscious, then actually we can spiral down, being so involved in such attitudes like that. But if we're deliberate, we recognize that we do have a choice, and being deliberate in that moment, where we upright ourselves and we breathe until we remember. We just breathe until we remember and affirm your love. And when we do that, that's the inner work. And we're talking about finding your peace, doing the inner work. And this is the inner work, where when we remember, we upright ourselves and breathe and remember and affirm our love. It brings perspective. It may bring forgiveness for yourself, for one, for another person. It's a matter of being large and then having conscious understanding. And when we go through that process, it neutralizes this state here, and we move along and appreciate. We appreciate the integrated part. We play with all, you play with all. It restores your experience of peace, harmony, and joy. And ultimately, it helps aspiring in peace, harmony, and joy. We recognize when our opportunities come along, when we feel like our heart's being contracted, we actually, instead of saying, oh no, we say, oh yes, here is my opportunity. Here's my opportunity to aspire in a greater way of influence, of extending, of having the experience of peace, harmony, and joy, to extend it out into our world. So we aspire that way. And sometimes we get caught. The pressures of life, the pressures of our circumstances may catch us. But if we can catch ourselves, move along, and appreciate the opportunities we have when the pressures come along, then you can say our light is on and we're shining the way for all. We're playing our part, our essential part, having a sense of destiny. A mentor mind would say, have a sense of destiny. The whole world depends upon my peace, harmony, and joy. And if each of us can say that collectively, you can say what transformative changes can take place in the world. And then ultimately, it's coming into a consciousness of the ownership of your own peace, harmony, and joy expression. It's like you have the ownership of that. So more and more you ground yourself, you have the equanimity in certain moments to actually ground yourself and having that expression, and at rest and in action. So a big part of the work that I do, I recognize we need to find our flow state. We need to find the time to rest and the time to take action. And then ultimately, you know what you express. That's a quotation also from Martin. You know what you express. If you're expressing peace, harmony, and joy, that's what you know and experience. If you're not, then you're not knowing the experience. And that leads to mastery. Mastery, my sensing is when you can say, abide in this alignment. And when things come along, we actually, before our heart contracts, we recognize what's happening and we stay in alignment. That's a practice for embodiment and eventual aspiring to that mastery. So I know I've given you a lot here, but to me, this is the ultimate way of looking at doing the inner work. Hope that resonates with you. Okay, meditation application. I know I've just given you a bit. I know we've just done a heart math practice, but let's see now, put it together a little bit more in terms of what I just shared. So again, let's upright ourselves, hand over our hearts, if you're comfortable with that. Let's breathe in, slow in, and breathe out slower. Okay. And as we just cotton on to whatever I just shared with you, whatever struck you there, just take note of that and appreciate whatever seed that you feel has just been received in your conscious, in your heart. Acknowledge that for a moment. And let your mind surround that there may be protection for it. Remembering that our conscious mind is looking to protect our heart, to be positioned in attitudes of thankfulness, appreciation, and patience, as well as other such attitudes. And as we do, we know a sense of assurance that all is well in coherence. Right? Just breathe together, breathing in slow and breathing out slower. Acknowledging what we sense we can appreciate. Breathing in slow, out slower. Okay. Okay, that's a little bit of assimilating that of what we've just shared. Now let's move on in terms of, okay, now personally consider what most stands out for you today. So, the hearing with learning is reflecting on what insight you must just been given there. So to help your own learning in this process is consider what most stands out for you today. And here's some thought joggers here. What insight has been most valuable to you? How will you apply what you have learned today? Is there any one or anything you have most appreciated? So whatever one of those questions strike you, you can answer accordingly. If you have time, you can answer all three, but you may want to write those down. Robert's going to play some music as you reflect on those questions. So, okay. So implementation. So we talked about quick coherence, quick steps. Now you were mentioning, Anisha, how do you say your name? Anishka? Or can I shorten that? I can say Anne?
Anshika, but you can shorten it. I have a lot of short names.
Okay. I appreciate what you had to say in terms of, we all have our ways of knowing peace and harmony and joy. And this is one way that I thought to share this evening. So in terms of implementation here, to consider this: quick coherence, quick steps, heart focused breathing, slower in, slower out, activate a positive renewing feeling, experience what makes you smile, heart focused breathe a positive emotion. So actually practicing that when you're waking is a good time to do that, and when you're falling asleep. Now, you can also do that when things like we call it resourcing yourself, inviting coherence when you're stressed, anxious, or depleted. So how this works, again, your heart influences your brain, and your brain actually influences your intestine. You've heard of your gut-brain relationships. So if you have gut problems, if you actually begin to practice this, it helps assist with this whole process of heart, brain, then gut. It's all intertwined. So when you are stressed, take deep, heart-focused breaths, affirm what you love, find that compass in your heart there. But practicing doing the quick coherence when you're waking and breathing in more relaxed moments helps condition ourselves when things come along. We can actually use that process in the moment when we are feeling stressed or pressured, as Alan would say, when we're swimming upstream in a way. So looking more, experience more with peace, harmony, and joy. I've created a 4-week heart, mind, body group training. Session 1 was this. You were actually in the first session, Finding Your Peace, the session today. For those of you who haven't been present today, you can catch up with the recording, but you can also, if you're here today, you can hear more. I know I've given you a lot of insight there. But the next session would be session 2, Finding Your Harmony Through the Neuroscience of Peace, Harmony, and Joy. Now, if you have a little more greater understanding of the neuroscience of how our body works neurologically, brain-wise, my sensing is it would give you a little bit more turgor, a little more foundation to actually have a greater sense of mastery with being in coherence. So that next session begins on November 7th. Session 3, body, finding your joy through your flow state. To me, the pivotal thing for our health is finding our flow between rest and activity. That'll be on November 14th. And then on the 21st, bringing it all together and extending peace, harmony, and joy. Now, if you're so interested, You can go here to this link. Bob will put this link in the chat. You can access it to learn more about the program and to engage. I'd love to have you join us. Okay. I just pressed the link. That's what it looks like. Let me get back to my screen. I don't know what I just did here. Okay. Amazing. But that is the screen. Here we go. Can you see my screen here? Yeah. Go here to
Yes.
learn more.
Yes.
Can you see that? Okay. And then you can take a picture. I learned how to do a QR code. So if you want to take out your phone, it's a little bit easier than accessing that link. You can take a picture of that right now. And then for one-on-one coherence training, if that appeals to you, you can contact me at info@drsteveventola.com. Bob will put that also in the chat. Okay, so that's for the training coming up. Be great to have you join us. And then find out more, other steps. The Peace, Harmony, and Joy Alliance here. The website there that you can go to, and the next public workshop, which actually be initiation, like tonight here, we're looking to do more public events to have a sharing in a greater world. It's entitled Having More Peace, Harmony, and Joy for the Holidays with Family and Friends. That'll be on November 13th at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. And I'm sure you'll receive an email about that with details. Okay, and then if you're interested in having a vitality consciousness as you age, consider joining the Conscious Healthy Aging community. And that's where we look at stopping the old age mentality when that arises, so that we begin to actually cultivate a vitality consciousness even as we age. And then when we end our time today, when you sign off, we'd appreciate you taking a moment to complete a brief survey to help in our work. So you receive that, and it should take about 2 minutes to complete that. Okay, comments, questions. Now, since it's 8:30 now, but again, you can stay afterwards when we complete our time right now. And I thought I'd end with this slide. We are stardust. We are golden. We are caught in the devil's bargain. And we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. Joni Mitchell.